Supreme Court nominee Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson faces another marathon day of questioning on Capitol Hill. Yesterday, the Senate Judiciary Committee probed her on hot-button issues, including race, abortion, and her judicial philosophy. Here to talk about this is the CEO of Dickey Communications, James Dickey, and Texas Democratic Party co-executive director, Jamarr Brown. Jamarr, are the senators, particularly Texas Senator Ted Cruz, asking the appropriate questions?
Well, I think that what we're seeing from Senator Cruz and Senator Cornyn, we're seeing a continued political theater. They're trying to make this into a debate about abortion or CRT and pulling out children's books and, those sort of things. And, Judge Brown Jackson is talking about how she will go along the rule of law, how she will apply the law on the highest court in the land. And so I think that we've got to get back to the practice of how the laws will be equally applied to all Americans.
James Dickey, how do you think Judge Jackson is doing in this process so far?
Well, she's doing very badly, and she's doing so much so because she has made it crystal clear that she's making a laughingstock of the senators whose job it is to advise and consent. I mean, yesterday's hearing, she literally said only a biologist can define what a woman is. Well, that's bad news for somebody who has to rule on Title IX cases, which are about discrimination against women. And so for her to say, I cannot define what a woman is because I am not a biologist, well, that speaks against what the left is saying these days, which is biology has nothing to do with it, sex has nothing to do with it, chromosomes have nothing to do with it. But B, it shows that she is doing a bald-faced lie to the senators to whom she has to tell the truth for them to be able to actually consent to her nomination.
Jamarr, what is the significance of the first ever African-American woman being a nominee to the Supreme Court?
I think that it's a huge historic significance for the representation of the system. We're talking about a criminal justice system, a constitutional legal system that hasn't always been reflective of the true diversity of the country. And so to ensure that we potentially will have someone who is reflective of the diversity of this country in a major institution such as the Supreme Court is absolutely important when we talk about the law being applied equally to all Americans.
James, presumably she is going to get through onto the court. The Senate has the appropriate number of Democratic votes. How will her nomination to the court affect the court?
Well, sadly, she's made clear through rulings in the past and through her own writings in the past that she takes things into account that are not in the law. And in the just utter disregard she has shown for the Senate by being willing to bald-faced lie to them on the record yesterday, doing things in a hearing that no judge would allow anyone to do in a hearing. Sadly, if she is approved by the Senate, then the Senate will, A, prove that it is purely partisan theater and has nothing to do with caring about the Supreme Court. And sadly, it will continue the politicization of the Supreme Court that the most recent Democrat nominees to that court have pushed, sadly.
All right, we have to wrap it up. The process continues for the judge. James, Jamarr, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.